side, so we can kill it on the lawn is more. I've been training for murder.
Ticking time bomb, living villain, dire icon. You should sleep with the light on. Choke a whole cherry python. Shut up, be quiet. Watch me go, go, guys. Tell me devil, I'm a liar. I'm the T-Spice hitter. Hey, hey. Death and decay. Hey, hey. Get up. Hey, hey. Blood on my face. Hey, hey. Get up. Ticking time bomb, living villain, dire icon. You should sleep with the light on. Choke a whole cherry python. Shut up, be quiet. Watch me go, go, guys. Tell me devil, I'm a liar. I'm the T-Spice hitter. Menacing figures fall from the sky. Symbols and sigils, I saw the signs. Rats in the sewers, death on the mind. Eyes in the sights on you, baby, oh my. I'm a ticking time bomb, living villain, dire icon. You should sleep with the light on. Choke a whole cherry python. Shut up, be quiet. Watch me go, go, guys. Tell me devil, I'm a liar. I'm the T-Spice hitter. Hey, hey. Death and decay. Hey, hey. Get up. Hey, hey. Blood on my face. Hey, hey. Get up. I'm a ticking time bomb, living villain, dire icon. You should sleep with the light on. Choke a whole cherry python. Shut up, be quiet. Watch me go, go, guys. Tell me devil, I'm a liar. I'm the T-Spice hitter. I'm a ticking time bomb, living villain, dire icon. You should sleep with the light on. Choke a whole cherry python. Shut up, be quiet. Watch me go, go, guys. Tell me devil, I'm a liar. I'm the T-Spice hitter.
And I know she'll be the death of me, at least we'll both be numb. And she'll always get the best of me, the worst is yet to come. But at least we'll both be beautiful and stay forever young. This I know, this I know. And I know she'll be the death of me, at least we'll both be numb. And she'll always get the best of me, the worst is yet to come. All the misery for this is everywhere, what deep in love. This I know, girl I know. I can feel my face when I'm with you, but I love it, but I love it. Oh, I can feel my face when I'm with you, but I love it, but I love it. I can feel my face when I'm with you, but I love it, but I love it. Oh, I can feel my face when I'm with you, but I love it, but I love it. She's on me, though I can feel my face when I'm with you, but I love it, but I love it. Oh, I can feel my face when I'm with you, but I love it, but I love it. She's on me, though I can feel my face when I'm with you, but I love it, but I love it. Oh, I can feel my face when I'm with you, but I love it, but I love it. not alone in this bed, that's true. We let you think about it too. She know that I love you like I do, 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 like I do.
Hello, guys. Hi, Polar. Hi, Bryce. Bryce, thank you for the heart me. Hello, guys.
Okay, so watch the.
Hello, Critter.
40 days.
Okay, guys, I was in the middle of watching this video, so I'm just gonna put it on screen. I'm gonna set up my drawing tablet. Sorry, stream's late today, guys. Martlet fell asleep, I'm pretty sure. Their power went out, and I think that they just went to bed. That would make sense. Dun, 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 dun. What's up, boxing?
That they want to decide who to vote for. And yet the Secretary of State in Maine and Colorado, among others, are seeking to keep Donald Trump off the ballot, citing the 14th Amendment and his role in January 6th. So, Marianne Williamson, let me ask you, do you think that Mr. Trump should be kept off the ballot?
You know, he has not been convicted of the crime of insurrection. He hasn't been. And so for a judge to just opine on this, I think it's very dangerous. The people who love Donald Trump are going to vote for Donald Trump. We could indict him 91 more times. He could be in prison. People are going to vote for him. Anything we do to try to obstruct Donald Trump, this is not the way we're going to win in 24. We're going to win in 24 by offering the American people a better life, by cutting the cord with an aberrational chapter of American history that has denied most people the promises of democracy.
Mr. Uygur, same.
We'll beat him on the issues. Let us not beat him in court.
Mr. Uygur, same question. Do you think that Donald Trump should be kept off the ballot because of the 14th Amendment?
Yeah, no, I don't. I think the voters should decide whether it's us in primaries being put on the ballots or Donald Trump in a primary or general election being put on a ballot. if we think democracy is on the line, we should actually participate in democracy.
Democracy.
We should support democracy. Now, but I want people to understand the 14th Amendment is a complicated issues in both Section 1 as it applies to me, Section 3 as it applies to Donald Trump, and let the courts decide that.
Let's be clear on with regard to you, right? You were born in Turkey.
That's right.
And so there's a question about whether you're even eligible to run for president. The 14th Amendment does talk about no person except a natural-born citizen or a citizen of the United States at the time of the adoption of the Constitution shall be eligible to the office of president. Neither shall any person be eligible to that office who shall not have attained to the age of 35 years, etc. So what is your argument as to why you should be eligible?
What color
Yeah,
is
so
my
that's
makeup?
Article
What
2,
question? What
Clause
kind of
5.
question is that?
The 14th Amendment amended that, and
orange?
it says all persons born or naturalized
Can you not see colors?
have due process and equal rights. And the way that American jurisprudence has gone so far is that the 14th Amendment's Equal Protection Clause has protected protected classes. That is race, gender,
I feel that. I'm sorry as
orientation,
well.
and national origin. Title 6 of the Civil Rights Act protects discrimination based on national origin.
Do you think it would be discrimination to keep you off the ballot?
100%. It's unconstitutional discrimination. We went to district court in South Carolina. The judge said it was one of the best argued cases. It was a really close call. We're appealing to the circuit court. And Dan, every civil rights case is won by repeatedly saying, we demand equality until the courts give it to you. And that is exactly what's going to happen.
Congressman Phillips, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. had run as a Democrat. He's now an independent. He's polling at a serious 15% or so far. As someone who supports ballot access, do you support his run as an independent?
I think any American who desires to run for public office should have the chance to do so. And I want to answer two questions at once. You just asked about Donald Trump on the ballot. I was trapped in the House chamber on January 6th. I'll say the quiet part out loud. Donald Trump inspired an insurrection. Every one of my colleagues in the Senate and House know it. We tried to prosecute him, and we failed.
No, I'm just
Do I
pale.
think the Democratic Party should pursue legal channels to beat Donald Trump? No. The same way they shouldn't pursue the same channels to keep us off the ballot. We should let American voters be the judge and jury, and as it relates to RFK Jr.,
What's up, Valley?
he has
How
every
you
right
doing?
to run. He's listening to people better, frankly, than I think the president is. And yes, he should be able to access the ballot. He shouldn't have to spend $10 to $15 million to be on the ballot. For someone getting that kind of support, no more than any of us have to spend millions to do the same thing.
Ms. Williamson, I'd like you to listen to this question. This is from Skip from New Jersey, who asks this question.
Most people have no clue that in 2023, the best way to make money on Amazon is not with physical.
In an election as critical as this one, when you are inevitably unable to get enough votes to secure the nomination as Democratic candidate for president, will you commit here and now tonight to not running as a third-party candidate, as third-party candidates never win?
Well, first of all, I don't have any problem saying I'm not going to run as a third-party candidate, but I have a problem with the question. First of all, that's just the DNC narrative. She inevitably will lose. If I inevitably lose, it's because they are keeping me off the ballot. It's because they are smearing me. It's because they are mocking me from the presidential podium. It's because they are doing all the shenanigans that they are doing. So then they create this narrative, well, you can't win, so why are you doing this? And you better give us a loyalty test. I think we should ask the President of the United States if...
Oh yeah,
if
there
he
should be
is the nominee or if
new
I'm-
emotes and stuff now, guys. I think they got approved in Twitch chat. It seems like it. But I am wearing concealer foundation. I need new foundation. The stuff that I've had for years. And it's like chalky. That's why I never wear it, because it just, I don't know, it feels weird. I need to go shopping for new stuff, but I can't afford all that right now. But yeah, you guys should have new emotes and stuff now. As well as there should be like cheer badges. Maybe it's maybe not yet. Kellogg says bit leader 2. Oh, because you're on the leaderboard. That would make sense. That would make sense. Wonder if there's a custom thing I can do for that. Yeah, it's the monthly top share thing.
I'm the nominee, or if Cenk is the nominee, will he support us? This idea of the DNC just creating these concocted narratives to anoint. There's nothing in the U.S. Constitution that gives incumbents an anointment. I am old enough to remember when Eugene McCarthy and Bobby Kennedy Sr. ran against Lyndon Johnson. He was the incumbent. Yep. I remember. No one considered it weird. We just considered it democracy. And no one said to Bobby Kennedy and Eugene McCarthy, now, do you promise? Be good boys and girls. No, this is a democracy. We all have the right to be here. So I have a little bit of a problem.
Fair enough. All right. Now, Congressman Phillips, you had mentioned the border before. The border continues to be flooded with migrants trying to cross into the United States.
We're also going to watch the Channel 5 video today, guys.
Others doing it illegally. President Biden now considering stricter asylum restrictions by, among other things, putting a cap on the number of asylum applications. Let me start with you on that. Do you support President Biden on that?
I think we are so misguided in how we're looking at this problem, Dan. The solution to me is very simple. We have a very broken asylum system. Most of the migrants coming to the U.S. are trying to declare asylum. We force them to save $10,000, their whole life savings, make this arduous journey to our border. They pay Mexican cartels all their money. They're processed, they're dumped in the streets of El Paso with no money, no chance to work, and then we have this massive problem, including in New York City. What would I do? I would force the filing of asylum cases in countries of origin. We should build asylum campuses next to our embassies or our consulates to keep people safe, adjudicate the cases there. If they qualify, we bring them to the United States, we mitigate this whole mess, and then they have $10,000 per person to start their new lives in America. That's called problem solving. What we're talking about right now is politics, and that's why we are so...
Mr. Uyghur, that's a form of Remain in Mexico that Congressman Phillips is talking about. Do you support that, and what do you make of President Biden considering limiting the number of asylum applications?
Yeah, I think it's a terrible idea. I think it's a concession to Donald Trump. It's not to say that there isn't a problem at the border. There is. There are different ways to fix it. So I have a variation of what Dean is saying there. I would send an army of judges to the border because the number one issue is processing the asylum claims quicker. And so, and the other thing that you have to do is you have to stop the flow of the migrants. And how can you do that? By doing a Marshall Plan for Latin America. It worked. We don't have a migrant problem from Germany and Japan and Turkey and Greece because we did a Marshall Plan and their economies grew and they became our strongest allies and our strongest friends. We could do the same thing in Latin America. Right now, Venezuela is a disaster. That is why so much more people are coming to the border because a lot of them are coming from Venezuela, which they didn't used to. If we help those countries, we also help ourselves. It's a win-win. Being more draconian and going in the direction of Donald Trump does not help. Joe Biden, stop helping Trump.
So, Ms. Williamson, let me give you another one of our viewer questions. This is David from Minnesota. Let's listen.
Over 73,000 people in the U.S. have died from fentanyl overdoses, but 86% of people smuggling fentanyl in to the U.S. are legal U.S. citizens. My question is, how will you solve the fentanyl crisis?
Well, first of all, and I do commend the president. He recently met with President Xi, and he got an agreement that he would start clamping down on these laboratories in China that manufacture the precursor chemicals. But I actually think that what we ought to do is to decriminalize drugs. I think we should end America's war on drugs. It has not solved the problem.
Yeah, I think a lot of them are kind of pissed at us for fucking shit up, honestly.
When I was in college, we had 300,000 people in prison. We now have 2.3 million, and 46% of all federal prisoners are nonviolent drug offenders. They should be home raising their children. Why do I mention this? Because once we decriminalize drugs, once we end the war on drugs, and take that $100 billion that we spend a year, and let's spend a fraction of that every year on a network of recovery options. I don't want a drug czar. I want a recovery czar. We're going to help addicts recover. What's then going to happen? We are going to, by doing that, be taking power away from the drug cartels.
It's one of my favorites. It kind of slips up so I had to wear something under it, but
the bandwidth and the resources to go after the real drug that is the
Congressman
public
Phillips,
enemy, and that is fentanyl.
You talked about sort of legal immigration, right? People who are actually filing claims for asylum, et cetera. David from Texas has a separate question. Says the southern border.
Oh, David from Minnesota and David from Texas?
Cannot wait for Congress to fix immigration policies. What do you propose to stop the unmanageable illegal crossings into the United States?
I think he's right. And as executive of the United States of America, your foremost responsibility is to protect America. We spend $1 trillion a year right now overseas with our Pentagon, Dan.
So what's the solution?
The solution is to be an executive and solve the problem at the border.
How?
We need buffers.
They all call in for political debates and are concerned about migrants.
To ensure that we have the right barriers, the right technology, and the right trained people. We need to change our asylum law. And I agree with Cenk. We are so misguided in how we invest our foreign aid budget.
Actually, I don't think this is a debate. It says it's a forum, candidate forum.
What we're seeing right now is nothing compared to what is coming when people start fleeing famine and war and lack of water. We are going to have mass migration waves that we're ill prepared for, and the executive of the United States should be paying attention to the border immediately, and he can, and he's not.
Everyone's going to stick around. You got a lot more to get to, including the economy, and we're going to talk about an issue that may be tough.
The highest art is beautiful, timeless, and breathtaking. Experience art with 5,000.
What do you guys think? Is Shenyun cool or is it propaganda?
Welcome back to the Democratic Presidential Forum with 3 candidates that the DNC seems to want to ignore in an effort to anoint President Biden the winner. We're here with 3-term Congressman Dean Phillips.
Hello, David. My name is Cassie. That is a moniker I go by for different reasons, but hello. David, another David.
Across the country, problems with recruiting, low morale. In the wake of the George Floyd case and the protests that ensued, many big cities moved to defund the police, or as they said, reallocate resources at the time. But now, many of the same cities are reversing course, including San Francisco, D.C., Portland, Oregon, Minneapolis, L.A. Congressman Phillips, do you believe the defund the police movement was a mistake?
I think the name was a mistake. And look, I come from Minneapolis, where George Floyd was murdered, a city in which we mistook quiet for peace. Biggest problem I think this world faces right now. We think if it's quiet, everything's just fine. It's right below the surface. The injustice that has been propagated against the black community in this country is horrifying, and we have to acknowledge it.
Wait, the dancing for what? Dancing is probably neat on the surface, but I've heard there's some weird politics behind it. Oh, for Shenyun. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's what I've heard. That's why I was curious about your guys' opinion. Thank you very much, David, and thank you for the follow. I think that's what the subscribe. Thank you. Welcome in, guys.
Not the answer. Funding the police with better trained cadets, funding the police with social workers and mental and emotional health providers. Yes.
Yeah.
21st century
Thanks for the answer, Ellie.
To improve lives so that police are not burdened with this nonsense. I'm a white man. I've never had to have the talk with my daughters, the talk about driving at night.
Okay.
Hoping my kids.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh, but just the way he says I'm a white man, I don't know what makes me laugh. I don't know. So I'm not trying to be disrespectful.
Come home at night. We have to start being empathetic and understand that slogans like that work against all of us, particularly the communities that need the most protection.
Mr. Uyghur, in 2020, you had tweeted, "I'm now supporting defund the police 100%. Then 2 years later, you said, will people who came up with the defund the police slogan admit they were wrong? It was wildly counterproductive framing. Where do you stand today?
Yeah, you're actually missing one more. In the beginning, I hated the slogan. And the tweet that you showed first was my reaction, my frustration with policing in this country, saying, for God's sake, are you guys ever going to change this? But my initial instinct of the slogan being terrible was correct. And I came back to that position because it doesn't work. Because what it leads people to think is that you're going to do no policing. That is not what anyone's in favor of. We want fair policing, not no policing. Of course you need police. Of course you need to protect people. What are progressives for? They're for justice for everyone. That includes the working class, the middle class that suffer crime. And they suffer it more than anyone else does. So the reality is the slogan is terrible, but we never changed the culture of policing in this country. That's the number one problem. You know what the saying is, better to be judged by 12 than carried out by 6. Every police department says that, and that is actually a terrible slogan. That means shoot first. Who cares about the citizens? Better to protect yourself than to protect the citizens. That is the exact opposite of what cops should do. We want fairness and justice in both directions for the citizens and to protect them.
I see you nodding, Ms. Williamson, but it sounds like what Mr. Uyghur is saying is that very often, too often, the police are the bad guys. And that's certainly going to lead to horrible morale among police officers around the country if the President of the United States is talking about how horrible our police are.
Oh, we have to get beyond that.
He seems like a floater. Just say what the public view is at the time. I don't know who this guy is. I'm a Brit. So that's Cenk from the Young Turks. I would say it aligns with his history for sure. And everyone's entitled to evolve their opinion. And I personally, I went to the George Floyd protests in 2020 in Minneapolis, and yeah, people were very, very adamant with everything that's gone on that we in fact defund the police. Like the Minneapolis mayor even came down to the protests, which I was personally happy to see that he even gave a shit to come out. But he was asked by one of the activists to commit to defunding the police, and he said that he could not do that, and he was aggressively booed by everyone. So I think there was a lot of pressure for people to make a statement on that. And I do believe like the excessive force across the board or abuse of power in any like public figure position is not okay. And I personally have like back then was like maybe like community policing, but it's just hard to navigate to rework an entire system. But there's definitely something wrong with what has historically been going on. I think it was just like a few days ago, Philip DeFranco covered a story where a baby that was on life support was flashbanged because they got the wrong house. So stuff like that, obviously, like there's something deeply wrong. Like something needs to change if stuff like that is happening. Yeah, it's complicated. But yeah, so I would say I'm an American. I've never heard of this guy either. You've never heard of Cenk? You've never heard of the Young Turks? He's Hassan Piker's uncle, if you guys didn't know. Yeah, Faye.
Sophomore conversation. We need to have a much deeper one. The issue is not how much money you spend. The issue is the training and, as Junk was just saying, the culture. Our police, if you look at how our police are trained compared to, let's say, a country, some of the European countries, where people's been
Hello again, how are you?
2 years as opposed to what might be 6 weeks here, and are taught to de-escalate.
Yeah, so I was more into the Young Turks when I was younger, but they started to, you know, be a bit much in some ways at some points. But like all of news has been for me. Like I like some things Hassan Piker says, and then I think some things he says is really, really fucking stupid. It's like nearly impossible for me to find somebody that I agree with 100%. I think Marianne Williamson says a lot of good things. I'm leaning more towards her than the other two people in this forum. Personally. Definitely her over Nikki Haley. Oh God, man. I've been doing some research the past few days, and boy, we're in a pickle, huh? We're in like a whole jar of pickles, aren't we? What? Anyways.
for lethal force, and everybody has seen it. We've seen it in videos. So Americans know that something is wrong.
Also,
We
the
know that
light I'm
there's
using right now is like
infiltration of
more
some of our
blue tinted
police
than usual.
forces by
Maybe
white
that's why it looks more
supremacist
white.
gangs. We've got to stop pretending to the American people what the American people, particularly black Americans, know. And I know that the majority of our policemen are very, very fine men and women, but that doesn't mean that we're not supposed to address the very, very dark forces that are going on in our police forces
I see.
around
I don't
this
know
country.
how much I
No
know of Cody
American
Johnson.
mother, as black mothers do in this country today, have to be afraid that if they ask their son to go to the corner store and get a quart of milk, that he might not come home alive. This is so far beyond how much money we spend. It's about what our police really are doing.
Well, I want to follow up with you on a somewhat related issue. You have advocated for reparations for slavery. You've pushed for $200 billion to $500 billion to be paid to descendants of slaves. Where are you going to get that money from, number one? And number two, reparations is not a popular issue more broadly. In a general election, if you are the Democratic candidate, won't that be a terrible issue for you?
Baby seal lover. I am only able to simp baby seals. Baby seals are adorable, man. I actually have a little plushie somewhere. I don't know where he's at right now. Jim is hiding. But baby seals for the win. They're great. Nodders. Yes, I agree. I concur. Chiquita Hermosa. What's up, NFS? How you doing?
First of all, I'm not running to be popular.
You're not running to win then.
Hi, Brian.
You know, there's a
Thank you for the
difference
heartbeat on
between
TikTok.
American
Welcome in
people,
Twitch
the
chat.
goodness, the decency and the nobility of the American people, and what the political elite thinks is what's going on out there. I've spoken to many all-white audiences and gone through a little history lesson. Slavery began in 2016. You have almost 250 years of slavery, followed for the most part by another 100 years of institutional suppression of black people in the American South. 350 years. That's a lot of kicking. And if you've kicked someone that long, you owe it to do more than stop kicking. You owe it to them to say, help me get back up. Now, I also want to point out that once we close the wage gap between blacks and whites in America, the economy in the United States will be $1.5 trillion.
Congressman Phillips, do you support
It would reduce crime as well.
If this country doesn't wake up
You
to the fact
followed
that
me
we have
since
an obligation to
2016,
repair
NFS. 2016? Wow. Wow. That's really cool. Thanks for still being here. Maybe I shouldn't say that for a fact, but I have a theory that if we did like reparations or we reduced like poverty and gave more to disenfranchised communities with like generational trauma, that it would reduce crime potentially. I shouldn't state that as like a fact, but I'd have to like look into more statistics of that if there's been anything done like that to really go off of. But I personally, from the research that I've done, I very much feel like where there is inequality, there's going to be crime.
Justice that was done to African Americans, to the descendants of slaves, we are out of our minds.
And do you support reparations?
And here's what I plan to do. I want to use a UBI program, Universal Basic Income Program, in the lowest income census tracts in America that will benefit descendants of slaves.
Oh, he wants a UBI?
Also white people and Latino people and all kinds of people.
I'm listening.
Because I think we should be preparing for what is coming, the AI revolution. Here's the second proposition. We should also establish what I call American Dream accounts, where the federal government endows every baby born in this
I think Andrew Yang was running, and I think he dropped out and he endorsed Dean, I'm pretty sure. Right, Valley. For sure. And I think that's what we saw a lot of with the pandemic is like inequality rose, right? Statistically. For sure in some parts, like in San Fran, I think we saw that in that documentary we watched. Is that me doing gang signs? With the peace signs? Gang gang. Where my shooters at? Pew pew. Oh my god. I'm so dumb. Wow, okay. But yeah, I agree. There should be, like, limits on inflation. And unfortunately, in one of the cities here in Colorado, I just saw an article that they're taking off the ceiling of rentals here. So, or in that specific area. So I'm like, that's no bueno, you know, because rent's already really high. Yeah, it's not good. Some of the countries I'm looking at potentially living at are 1/3 of the cost of living here. Inflation just hasn't hit them as hard. I don't know if they have any like regulations. It's just cheaper, which if I could save that much money, oh my god, dude, I would be able to do so much more with my money. We would have charity streams every week. I would not be stressing all the time, which at the end of this lease here, I actually am making a big shift and dramatically decreasing my cost of living because this shit is just too much. I am too stressed out. It is not good for me. So, yeah, cost of living decrease. We're on the way to that. I want to be able to do more with my time and money, yeah. And also, hopefully, with the change, we can get, like, some building streams. Because I'll be on, some land. It will be fun. Some of those countries, it's cheaper, but medication, if you need it, is hard to come by. No, it's not one of those. For sure know what you mean, though. But it's... Yeah, no, they have a pretty good medical system, maybe better than ours, actually. Some of the places I've looked at. We'll see. We'll see, because I need to travel first, obviously. I don't want to just, like, go in blind and move to a country that I've never been to, so I'm obviously going to, like, travel first and feel it out. No, Faye, that's horrible. Wow, inflation is really complicated. Was the camera on the other side I've watched recently? Wait. What do you mean, Gigi?
Dollars in an account that is invested over time. When you graduate high school, you get it, and that will start closing the racial wealth gap in this country in miraculous ways. If we don't do this, Dan, it is the most existential threat to the country, the disparities between the haves and have-nots.
But Mr. Uyghur, that's not reparations that Ms. Williamson is talking about. Do you support reparations as laid out by Ms. Williamson?
So with reparations, there's two factors. So number one, should we do it? And I was really struck by what Marianne said when she ran last time on a debate stage. She said, a debt is owed. And that's just a fact. 400 years of free service. That's just not fair. So if it happened to anyone, people would say a debt is owed. I did the work and I never got paid for it. Now, having said that, it is very difficult to execute reparations. So how black, how white? What if you're a quarter black? Does that mean you pay reparations because you're 3/4 white, or you get reparations because you're a quarter black? So my point is, there is a way to do this, and it could be a baby fund. It could be lower interest rates on houses to build wealth for African-American families, because right now, the average African-American family starts with 10% of the wealth of white families. We can make a difference.
I know this is an important issue for you. 15 seconds. Though.
Okay. Over 20 years, the disbursement of $1 trillion. If I owe you money, I don't get to tell you how to spend it. A council of black elders from all across culture, politics, arts, religion, and so forth, and two major categories, educational renewal and economic renewal, and the black leaders get to decide.
Right, but I don't think either Mr. Uyghur or Congressman Phillips support that.
Well, no, I don't. But give me, if I could have 15 seconds. White families in America have about 6 times the wealth of black families in America. Our Constitution says all people are created equal. The only reason this is not equal is because of policies over much time. So the way to do this is close the racial wealth gap. That is something that conservatives and liberals can come together on.
Stick around. A lot more to cover with these 3 candidates in the discussion and debate DNC doesn't want you to really see. Coming up.
No living.
It's also sensationalized.
Ever eat processed food for every single meal of their life.
Life's weird. I'm an alien, guys. I landed on the wrong planet. I'm just as confused as you guys, but like sometimes way more. What? Someone please explain. What's happening? Where are we? Hello, Ernesto. Welcome in.
Thanks to all of you again. Let's talk the economy. On a technical scale, it seems to be improving. 5 straight quarters of overall growth. The U.S. labor market ended 2023 on a high note.
It's so over the top. It's like, yeah. It all feels so weird.
considered low for about 2 years. President Biden is crediting what he's calling Bidenomics.
Anyone else see the video of Destiny simping for Ben Shabibo? Oh my god, dude. Some of the things that was said. Just... Lord have mercy.
But most Americans aren't feeling it. A recent Gallup poll shows...
Oh, by the way, Dean, if you guys didn't know, Dean Phillips was in the insurrection. He was like in the building. He was like hiding. In one of the videos that I linked in the Discord in current events, he talks a little bit about it. Right.
2% of Americans approve of the president's handling of the economy. 67% disapprove. Ms. Williamson, statistics are
I need to, so we've been, I have been, and also posting in the Discord and on Twitter, a lot about the Democratic candidates. I posted a little bit of Jill Stein, but I want to dive more into the independent candidates as well, because I believe he said Robert Kennedy is polling 15%, but also there's something I want to look into, because they said that Robert Kennedy, I believe it was Hassan that said this when he was reading it out loud, that Robert Kennedy was on the Epstein list. So, I don't know. I don't know. We're gonna tinfoil hat and we're gonna dive in, guys. We're gonna figure some stuff out.
But Americans also know how it feels in their pocketbooks. Why is there this disconnect?
There's a disconnect because the official narrative is
I might be putting myself on a
the
list.
economy is doing well. It's doing well for 20% of Americans. But those 20% are like on an island surrounded by a vast sea of economic despair. When the majority of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, can't absorb a $500 unexpected expenditure, 39% of Americans report skipping meals in order to pay their rent. When we have the highest poverty rate of any advanced democracy, when we have people putting GoFundMe pages up on the internet to pay for life-saving operations, 1 in 4 Americans living with medical debt, over 1 million Americans rationing their insulin, a third of America's workers living on working for less than $15 an hour, and half of them cannot find a place to live. Do you realize the level of rage that they feel when the president tells them that the economy is doing well? You just don't understand.
Well, speaking of rage, and this is from a viewer question, Congressman Phillips. This is from Christopher from Texas. Congressman Phillips, Ms. Williamson, and Mr. Uyghur are each millionaires. Only one of them, Representative Phillips, has any prior experience as an elected official, only amounting to 3 terms in Congress. How can the candidates relate to the average American or instill confidence?
I mean, I feel like if you're a career politician and you're like putting yourself out there like that, it's like somewhat reasonable to be a millionaire. I feel like, because like if you're a content creator with like that level of notoriety, you might be a millionaire, depending on how you play your cards. You know what I mean? So I don't think it's like... I think it's like if, like when Bloomberg ran, like when people are like a billionaire, then it's like, okay. But it's like if you have like a couple million, it's not too bad, in my opinion.
Confidence in the average voter, and let's focus specifically...
I feel like there is a society where there could be a lot of billionaires. Like, say if like the billionaires gave back more, we could have more millionaires and it would be more feasible, because there's a lot of millions in a billion, you know what I mean? I don't know, people have like used this to criticize Bernie Sanders as well, but it's like, I don't know, I don't care too much about it, as well as Hassan Piker. I don't know.
On the issue of the economy that you're dealing with.
Like if you're buying yourself nice things and you're giving back and you're like kind of dedicating your life to public service, I don't know. You know, live comfy. There needs to be support if they get reparations. If they never had money, it's hard to balance. Most lotto winners waste their winnings in a few years. I completely agree. So, like, I would see maybe, like, a healthy level of reparations to be more, like housing, maybe land, yeah, like you could have like financial advisors, like social workers, because like the system is kind of very overwhelmed since I last checked, with like cases for people getting on disability or something like that. So maybe depending on where they're at in life and what they've experienced, you know, they could maybe be bumped up the list, or we could invest in paying more social workers or paying them a better wage or something. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of different things we could do, not just like giving, like handing out money, but yeah, like helping with like various different forms of care.
Wealthy people here, how can you relate?
Well, Christopher, I would say, how can a man who has served his entire professional career since age 27 in Washington, D.C., I think, how can he understand what's going on in this country? If he wasn't so encapsulated in Washington, in the White House, and was out doing what we're doing right now, which is listening to people, he would understand the pain and the heartbreak. People can't afford their lives. Life is unaffordable in America, Dan, and it is the truth. Joe Biden deserves some credit for the macro economy. But as Marianne said, most of that accrues to the top 1%. People are furious that their president is telling them everything is okay. So let me tell you this. I've chaired the board of a health system. I've been a regent at a university. I've led businesses. I've started them.
That's valid. This guy said he was like the golden boy or something. Like he got, I don't know if you watched the thing that I posted earlier. He mentioned his experience. Like, yeah, he was in the insurrection, and I think he's a congressman in Minnesota. I'm pretty sure. Leaning more businessman though, but yeah. I'd have to look further into their experience. Chang, I don't think has served in office. I think he's just a political commentator. And he's also not born in America, which is a criticism that he's gotten. Oh, only since 2019. Okay. That's not very long. That's not very long at all. What about Kennedy and Jill Stein and Cornell? I feel like Jill's been around for a minute. I think Kennedy's been around for a bit. I'd have to look more into that, though. Oh, they haven't. Oh, Stein and Williamson have never served. Okay. Interesting. I know she ran for president in 2020, though, she said, I'm pretty sure. But then she dropped out and she endorsed Bernie. I see. Well, I mean, but to be fair, Donald Trump got elected with no experience. But he was, like, very inflammatory. Like, you know, like, it was very manipulative. You probably know, like, you've heard me rant a little bit about the Roger Stone shiznit, and he filthy rich, you know, huge figure. Yeah, I know. I'm just saying as far as viability to get elected, but like say like none of these candidates have like a Roger Stone type figure pulling the puppet strings, convincing them to go, and having like a whole movement backed behind it and a whole like cult-like mindset around it. So yeah, I like listening to it though, because as they do get more experience, just to kind of know where they're at right now, and then like in the future being more aware if they continue their political career. But yeah, I know a bit about Chunk. I only know about Marianne Williamson because of this election cycle. I saw her, and then I liked some things she had to say. It makes sense that she endorsed Bernie Sanders last time she ran, because she has a lot of like similar talking points as he did.
The nonprofit sector, and now I'm a third-term member of Congress.
And yeah, this guy,
me,
I'm hearing him for the first time.
World, unlike most of my colleagues who are running this country right now, who have been encapsulated in a place that is so disconnected from reality.
Mr. Uygur, your response on this, but in particular, let's focus on this question that Christopher's asking about the fact that all of you are wealthy. How can you relate?
Yeah, I mean, look, I was not born wealthy. My career has been one of
exactly,
struggle.
David.
Being a talk show host is not easy. For 15 years, I was basically starving.
They're in their 70s. Damn. They're up there with Bernie then. Well, they're just speaking their truth to inspire younger generations. Damn, I didn't realize they were that old. Passionate though, like Bernie too. Bernie was old, right? Like super passionate. Very much like, okay guys, this is the last go. I didn't want this to have to be me, but someone's gotta do it, so I'm fucking old. Listen up. Yeah. Damn. But Biden's old as shit though too, right?
Cereal. I used to apportion the amount of cereal I could eat at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So do I know the pain of being poor and the struggles of being middle class? Absolutely. And so look, on the economy,
Wait, what does LBJ stand for?
Actually, a really great job on jobs. So, but what our frustration with Joe Biden is twofold. One is on policy, which I'll get to in a second, but he's terrible at messaging.
Yeah.
He doesn't like campaigning. He doesn't like attacking Republicans or Donald Trump.
That's why I'm so interested in like our other options, and I really want to. Oh, Lyndon Johnson. Okay, or Lyndon Johnson, the president after John Kennedy. Damn. Yeah, that's why I'm so interested in what the other candidates have to say, is because I just really don't align with Biden. Obviously, you guys know me, I don't fuck with Trump either, but it's like, I just pray. I pray every day, okay? That this is not a circus, but it just, yeah, they're trying, though. I know, Marianne and Dean both spoke to how much ostracization they face from political parties, so yeah.
Trump, more than twice as many. You know how much he's down on the issue of jobs? 19 points. He's losing to Donald Trump by 19 points, where he created twice as many jobs. He's down 24 points on the economy. That is why one of my URLs is BidenIsGoingToLose.com. Biden is going to lose.com. So now look.
You were able to buy that?
Yes. Yeah. And I've also got selfishjoebiden.com. Okay, because he's got to get out of the race. But I got to say, on the economy, he's also done terrible because they're right. Wages are too low.
I want to get Ms. Williamson one more quick question from a viewer, and then we're going to get to closing statements. This is from Delmar from Nebraska, who says, how do you intend to get our national debt reined in and lowered? We're crushing our children's future. 30 seconds, please.
I want to answer the one that came before because I think I deserve to. First of all, I'm not a millionaire because I put all this money into this campaign. But more than that, I have had a 40-year career, as a nonprofit activist, as a counselor. I have worked up close and personal with people whose lives
40 years as an activist and a counselor, though. It's not like president of the United States, but it's something.
Lives were in despair. I founded an organization that has served 16 million meals to people with life-challenging illnesses who cannot leave their homes. What makes me the person most qualified for this position?
What would you say are some of the biggest accomplishments, Valley? No, Faye, I'm sorry.
And personal with people whose lives were in despair. Where the Biden administration sees economic data, I see human suffering.
I want to give you each a chance for a final remark here, to speak directly to the audience, to tell them why you think that you should be the next president of the United States. Congressman Phillips, why don't you start?
Well, let me say the quiet part out loud on two fronts. First, about me. You just referred to me as a wealthy man, and I got lucky. My father died in Vietnam, was a soldier, had to pursue an ROTC scholarship to attend college, and was killed in July of 1969. My mom was 24 and widowed, and we had to live with my great-grandparents for 3 years, at which point I got lucky. My mom remarried, and I was adopted into a great family, gave me opportunity, and I busted my tail for the last number of decades to get to where I am. But it shouldn't be a stroke of good luck or the zip code in which you're born in America to do well. Here's the other quiet part out loud. Joe Biden, A, should be here, and B, he's going to lose. He should exit this race. He should encourage not just the three of us, but a whole stage full of next-generation Democrats ready, energetically, to get to it. Instill hope and optimism again like this country deserves. He's going to lose to Donald Trump, and he's going to get crushed by Nikki Haley. We're here doing democracy. We're practicing it. Our party's not supporting it, but we hope that you support us in this mission because it is the most existential threat to our future, and it is the legacy I know we can all...
Cenk Uygur, 60 seconds, your final remarks.
So I'm running because the Democratic Party needs a fighter. We need to go fight Donald Trump. Donald Trump is, in fact, pathetically weak. He has gone bankrupt 6 times. He's a failed businessman. He's a lifelong criminal. For God's sake, Joe Biden, stop taking a nap. Get up and fight. And you don't do that. And that is why I'm worried to death that you are going to lose. You're in the 30s. The Democratic candidate must win by 5 in order to win the Electoral College. He's down by 8. That means he's down 13 overall. He's losing every single swing state. Part of the reason for that is because he doesn't fight. He doesn't fight us. He doesn't fight Trump. He doesn't fight Republicans. He keeps telling you how they're his friends. Well, they're not my friends. I came here to protect Democratic voters, to protect the average American, and to fight against Trump. That's what my website's jankforamerica.com. Everybody knows I'm a fighter, and everybody knows if you're going to go up against Trump, you can't do it meekly. You have to actually fight against them. And Joe Biden right now is losing every swing state. That's why I also have BidenIsGoingToLose.com. He's down 14 points with independents. Democratic Party, turn around right now. We cannot afford to lose to Donald Trump. And apparently Democratic leadership does not mind that, and I do.
Marianne Williamson, your final remarks.
The Democratic Party needs to understand the psychological element of what's going on with Donald Trump. Donald Trump speaks to a part of the human brain that pulls people down into hatred and division. The only way to override that is to lift people up, to inspire people, to say to people, we can have a new chapter of American history. We can make an economic U-turn. We can cut the cord with an aberrational chapter that sought a $50 trillion massive transfer of wealth into the hands of 1% of Americans. We went from a thriving middle class 50 years ago to a collapsed middle class today. That's what the Democratic Party needs to promise. And that is why my career, as someone who has inspired and motivated people during times of crisis, you know, Franklin Roosevelt said that the primary responsibility of the president is not administrative, but rather moral leadership. And the founders of this country agree with me. In order to be president, they said, you have to have been born here, although, as Cenk will tell you, believe me, it's a living document. You have to have lived here for 14 years, and you have to be 35. They did not say you have to be part of a political elite or a congressman or a senator. They were leaving it to every generation. What do you think is the skill set that will be the right skill set to face the challenges of this time? Someone who can say to the American people, we're going to start over, an economic bill of rights, a Department of Peace, ending the drug war. We are going to do the things that give the American people.
I like Cenk, but why is he even running right now? I feel like he needs to try focus people on voting for Biden. If Trump gets in there, the democracy might actually be over. So I worry that Trump will beat Biden. I worry about that. I do worry about that. So we do have a primary. There's a sliver of a chance that something can change. You know, I just, regardless, I want to be informed. If it comes down to it, I don't want to vote for Trump. I'm not going to vote for Trump. I also would not do something like in the main election, risk him getting the vote, but I will scream from the rooftops about my little ranked choice voting, and I will vote in the primary with whoever aligns most with my values in March. So we're on an adventure learning about who that is for me. For you guys, I'm not sure, but I am not super familiar with all the candidates, so I'd like to be more informed and hopefully restore my faith in humanity. I like a lot of things that Marianne Williamson has to say. Do I think she's gonna win? It's kind of cutting it close, you know, with the election coming up very soon. But I think more people should talk about the things that she's talking about, and I think Cenk might have dropped out. I would have to look into that. I'd have to look into that more. But yeah, I worry. I worry sometimes. But we'll see how it goes. It's Biden's job to get people to vote Biden, and Cenk's whole point is Biden is laying down and waiting to get steamrolled. Yeah. That's my thing. I really wish we had ranked choice voting or something, because, like, it's, like, he's old, you know? And then we'd have something to go off of if something, you know, in the next 4 years ever happened. Like, he gets too old, because, like, I think my grandma started getting Alzheimer's, like, a little bit before how old he is now, so, yeah. You hope the push for Biden is strong in the main. Yeah. And I really want to look into... I know Vivek is heavily endorsing Trump. I want to look more into that stuff too. And the whole 2024 Trump, like, America First plan thing. And just to learn more about what's going on. I've kind of tapped out of politics for a bit, but we do have a major election this year, so I'm tapping back in the ring. I want to know what's going on. We're finding out together, so I'm praying for the entire world right now. Cause yeah, I feel like we could do a lot better than where we're at. I believe in us. Trump is too old. Also, ain't he only 2 years younger than Biden? Yeah, like the age limit, or the age minimum rather, is 35 years old. I would love, I honestly love seeing Cenk here, because I don't know how old Cenk is. I know he's not like 70 though. But I would love to see more younger, fresh faces, even if they don't have like a huge political history, but like 40-year-olds that like are really passionate and intelligent and want to just kind of throw their hat in the ring. And just talk about what issues are important. I'd like to see more of that. The only cool thing to do is to do it to not participate. That what a cool high schooler would do, and smoke. Oh god, yeah. So Bernie Sanders actually got me really hyped up about actually being involved in politics and doing anything in that regard. I was really adverse to it. I thought it was all bullshit. I was super nihilistic with it. Still kind of am sometimes, but no, we all have an impact. Our voice does matter, and especially because I have a platform, I would like to research this more with you guys, and yeah, see if we can shift this reality a little bit towards more empathy and taking care of the planet, and less spending money on crazy wars. And I don't know. I kind of want to write down like what my values are in a candidate, like what things like align for me, like policy wise, that I really believe in. So yeah, I don't know. I could see myself running for city planner, like in my 30s, something like that. Some kind of like lower position. And then who knows, maybe when I'm 40, I'll be the first former e-girl to take office. Oh god, bro, that would be, oh no, they'd John Lennon me. Can you have tattoos? I've never seen a president with tattoos. I don't know, we'll see. Maybe when I'm like 60, they'll like become more progressive and they'll let people run for president if they have tattoos and they're former e-girls. We'll see. I said before I would never run, but then I'm like looking at the state of it and I'm like, shit. Maybe more people should run. We should have ranked choice voting, and we have like a fuck ton of candidates, right? And then we battle royale. No, I'm kidding. But maybe they all play Fortnite to see who wins. Best Fortnite player, Tyler Ninja Blevins, is now president of the United States.
We are sorry that President Biden did not want to be here to be part of this. We invited President Biden again to join in what we view as an important discussion. I said this at the top, I'll say it again. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to agree with anything or everything the folks here have said. It's just about having them get their say. Dean Phillips, Marianne Williamson, Jen Kuga, thank you all for being here. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you both.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. I'm frustrated by this top-down approach to trying to change the American left. We only get motivation to make these changes once every 4 years. Then everyone ignores their local elections, the midterm elections, and anything that could actually make some change. Valid. Okay, fine. I'll focus on politics when we're not going through a major election. Then okay, are you calling me out? So I'm just taking it personally. It's fine. Maybe I should. I get upset that the DNC assumes they own the left and they are guaranteed, so they spend all their time trying to swing conservatives away from the Republican Party. Yeah. I just overall think the divisiveness of like red versus blue, it's just like it's a fucking sports game, and to treat like just such serious things like a sports game, it seems ridiculous to me personally. We might like we've been having on Twitch, there's like a Trump versus Biden stream that's been going off and on for the past few years. It's like a never-ending loop of nonsense, and it seems intentional sometimes. Yeah, we might luck out and alien invasion could happen. I'm praying for it, Kellogg. A really cool one. Run for Parks and Rec. Fun science is the value I hold that eliminates 90% of Republican candidates. Oh man. Oh, but they'll preach science when it comes to trans issues though. They'll preach it then. Like they don't believe in climate change, but like a woman is a woman. You know what I mean? Like fucking oh man.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com.
I will not. You already got enough of me. Jazz for criminals. This is meant for us. I find it so strange how society doesn't trust people of those ages behind the wheel of a car, but yet they are relied upon to run a country. I know, right, John B? By the way, guys, Twitch chat has new emotes. There are some free ones, but if you subscribble, you get the goods. You get the good stuffs. All of them are too old. I wish we had younger blood in there, but it seems like they just don't get the backing they need for whatever reason. Yeah, it's also heavily financial based too. Like Marianne Williamson was saying, she's like hardly a millionaire because of how much money she spent campaigning. And that's the reason like Donald Trump had a fuck ton of funding, you know what I mean? I really want to try to somehow get in contact with whoever is responsible for stuff like school budgets in my state because I find it sad that lunch isn't free for everyone in my state. Yeah, that was something I struggled with growing up. I ate a lot of cheese sandwiches because I didn't always have lunch money. Pretty sure Teddy Roosevelt had one tattoo after one crazy exhibitions he did. Wait, what? Oh, he had tattoos. Oh, okay. What about a throat tattoo though? Is it like in the terms and conditions? Is the third tattoo okay? Hello, Mike Beast. I just want more AOCs and Omars in Congress. They're not perfect, but putting enough of them in Congress would create power block that could cause some real shifts in the DNC. I agree. I like them both as well. There's a massive amount of Americans that don't vote. I think that if we concentrated more on getting them to care, we'd have a better country. Absolutely. And also, for me, you guys know from my streams, I'm a huge advocate for getting all the homeless people in America housed. And, you know, once they have a home, it's a lot more likely they're going to be able to, like, vote. And, yeah. So, it's very important. This is to get people to care. And I feel like people are more able to care when their needs are met, you know what I mean? They're more able to like actually do the research, to know what's going on, and to actually like put that energy in to care about something and to campaign for something. Cause Bernie Sanders awokens me shortly after I got off the streets of being homeless. Cause that experience of being homeless was the fucking catalyst. I was just kind of like nihilistic, like what the fucking, I guess I'm gonna make the best of it. But also kind of feeling like the system didn't give a fuck about me. But then Bernie Sanders was talking about like the ways in which the system is broken, and it doesn't have to be that way. And I'm like, whoa, this old man. I never in my life thought an old man would say something smart. So yeah, thank you, Bernie. I woketh. Oh man. Like the Republican Party didn't get where they did electing Trump. They got there by stacking Congress with people like Ted Cruz and Paul Ryan, who ripped the old guard Republicans apart. Valid. I could wear turtlenecks if I was president. I just like wear like a full suit of armor, like. Alright, you guys like jazz? I already watched it, but we could watch it again. Let's watch the Channel 5 video. My iPad is still charging. I just realized it was at 2%, so I plugged it in a little bit ago. So we're gonna do art in a bit. But let's watch the new Channel 5 video on migration. Oh damn, I didn't see the new Crypt Mac one either. Okay, let's watch this. I did watch parts of this offline.
To upgrade your health routine by
in the middle of the Sonoran.
If FDR could hide his polio, I'm pretty sure he could hide a tattoo. Shit. I feel like the adults and people running for office will be tatted. A lot of people are, so at some point they will get to office. Yeah, like when our generation actually starts running for president, because like you're like around my age, Kellogg. We got years. Like I was thinking about it, like would I ever run for any type of office? And I'm like, with the progress I've made, with how far I've come since like my early 20s into my late 20s, I could definitely see myself in my 30s like ready for like smaller things. And yeah, like a lot of people our age have like TikToks, they have tattoos, they're like a lot of our alternative people our age. I'd have to look at like if there's even some type of statistic for that, but I think there's like more alternative people now than like ever. Like alternative, like tattooed type people. E-girls, e-boys.
Desert, hidden behind border patrol
Discord daddies and Discord kittens.
Hundreds upon hundreds of migrants.
Oh man.
Who hopped the U.S.-Mexico border.
Former Discord daddy runs for Congress. I'm sorry.
It was a shocking sight to see. People from all around the world, herded like cattle on the cold desert floor, sitting in silence, awaiting an uncertain future.
Yeah, so there's this Botrix thing in the chat, so when you guys chat in my chat, you get levels with Botrix. Hate to break it to you, but the people our age in office are mostly the Josh Howleys, Madison Cawthorns, Boberts, and Taylor Greens. Oh god. Yeah, it's because like I feel like those types of people are like brought up from young ages to feel strongly politically. And I would say my family was rather apathetic towards politics. Like they watched all the news all the time. And they thought like Trump was crazy. But yeah, I don't know. It wasn't like, I feel like Republicans can be more like you have to like prove yourself for the family type thing. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps type thing, you know what I mean? And more left-leaning people are more like, you don't, it's not like necessary. Cause like it's like a lot. Like look at all the stuff people talk about the Boberts online. Oh man, I think it's tough being an e-girl online. The Republicans get hell, bro. Oh, shit.
Despite these conditions, spirits are generally high.
At some point, there will be so much dirt, it'll all be dirt. Well, in 20 years, the news will be looking into the tweets of candidates and the Discord logs. Kicks down the door, honey, I'm home from work. Welcome home, Green Reaper. Welcome home. Goddamn.
Because most of these people have traveled days.
It's just sad though. Like a lot of people are like really like unempathetic. Like you'll see in this video like one of these guys, like it's fucking weird. But yeah, the shit that they had to go through to get here, bro. It's fucking crazy.
Weeks and even months just to get here. About 3/4 of them are single males. But there are also many children.
America is at a breaking point with record levels of illegal immigration.
These people's lives are at the center of the national conversation, but they could care less. They've finally made it to the land of opportunity.
I also like feel bad because like they're running from some shit, right? Like extreme poverty. Like I actually, when I was in Seattle, there was a group of people that were from Mexico, and they were like spreading awareness that their tribe, like their village, was like people were coming in and like killing the women and children. They were just like killing them. So they were in Seattle, like they're, I think, illegal immigrants, but they were like trying to spread awareness, like someone please help us. It's, I don't know, there's so many fucking issues across the world, dude. But I feel bad because like a lot of them are coming to America to seek like asylum, but then there's so much racism and poverty here also. Have I ever watched the movie The Campaign? I do not believe so. Have you read up on the fight between the Texas state government and the feds over the border? Ooh, not too much, Valley. I don't think so.
Founded upon the principles of liberty and radical individuality, where anyone from any walk of life.
Have you watched this video yet, Valley?
I guess they call them detainees. They've been walking on this road. This road runs for 12 miles, 12 or 13 miles. What it does is it parallels our border fence. On the other side of it, on the Mexican side of it, is Mexican Highway 2. So the cartels have a really easy job. They just bring the people off of Highway 2 and then through the wall. The wall has many of those cuts that I told you about earlier, where they run the people through. And so the immigrants just walk down this road.
Right, so as you guys can probably see right here, that's a group of 5 migrants who just hopped the border, and they're walking directly into Border Patrol custody.
To join the seated group of migrants that we just encountered.
So typically when you think of the border, at least me personally, I thought it was like people hop and then try to evade Border Patrol and make their way to a large U.S. city to start a new life. But in this case, you can see they are putting themselves directly in the custody of Border Patrol to begin the asylum seeking process.
But with the Texas thing, Texas recently put a bunch of razor wire and shit in the Rio Grande to prevent crossings. And the Supreme Court just voted 5-4 to allow the feds to rip it all out. Damn. Yeah, dude. Oh my god. The territorialness that like some fucking Texans have is insane. Like, I think it's in this video. If not, it was in another video I watched. But there's literally, I'm pretty sure that he talks about it in this. There's literally militias, like Make America Great Again type militias that like stalk the border, and they're literally like fucking hunting people, bro. They're like just killing people at the fucking border. It's insane. It's so fucking insane. Greg Abbott, the Texas governor, is also just a fucking monster. Yeah, that's my huge hesitation with ever, because like I've considered Texas, like, because I lived in Austin before. I've considered Texas because like low tax rates and all that. But yeah, just the policies I don't trust whatsoever. And yeah, having been arrested there for a plant was traumatizing.
They're not trying to evade or anything.
A Border Patrol agent agreed to speak with us, but didn't want to go on camera. Normally, agents are not allowed to be interviewed, and all press requests are typically deferred to a public information officer who rarely ever responds. But in this instance, the agent seemed exhausted and eager to tell me what was going on.
How do you take 20,000 children in the middle of New York City without anybody seeing? They are being put into buses. They are given certain clothes. Some of them were taken out in boxes.
This is like an ad.
You can call them caskets of dead
The fuck?
people, although they were live children in there.
The fuck is this? Alright, I skipped
Very few of them evading.
How come?
Well, because they...
Yeah, Valley. Oh my god, I don't know if you guys watched it, but like the fucking Ben Shapiro Destiny shit, and just like Ben Shapiro just being like, oh yeah, all our problems is we need 2-family households and like have more kids. It's just like not at all addressing poverty or like addiction, domestic violence, incarceration rates, you know what I mean? Yeah, just have a 2-parent household and just make more babies. And the problem is solved, and I'm Ben Shapiro, and I am smarter than you. Fucking stupid shit. I'm just like, why do so many fucking red pillars and Republicans think the solution is just like, just crank out more babies? It'll be fine. No! Especially when so many fucking Republicans and right-wingers do not want to pay for social systems, do not want welfare. It's like, okay, if you want more people to have kids, you have to accept that, like, not everyone's prepared for that. We need social systems to have healthy families at this point in society, especially when inflation and rent rates are, like, insane. It's just, the solution isn't having more kids. It just, yeah. As serious as he sounds, he seems a little naive. Who seems naive? Like, I doubt at this point in my life I'll be in the position to start a family, but if I was, I'd rather not have my wife's health put at risk because she couldn't get proper obstetrics care. 1,000,000% valid. Absolutely. Oh, the crank out more baby shit is just white nationalism. Bro! Oh, man. They want my eggs! They keep fucking advertising to me on YouTube about my eggs, and they're my eggs, and you can't have them. I swear to God, I will fucking be homeless on the street again, and I will busk, okay? I will play my booty cheeks to the beat, and I will, I'll be busting it in the red light district before I fucking give you my eggs, okay? My eggs are my eggs. My eggs. I like them scrambled, but they're mine. Jesus. Isn't Ben Shapiro the guy that fought a lady getting wet? Or thought a lady getting wet was the symptom of an... I have no idea. I haven't heard that. Well, if you want Donald to stop, make him president. If can't run after that, and like he breaks the rules, bro. Isn't the whole like 2024 shit like that? Because I saw Archie posted about it in the Discord. I need to look more into it because all I saw was that one post about it. Doesn't he want to like change the whole system? Which is valid. We need to change the system, but I don't trust Trump to do that ethically. I don't. I do not. Let's watch this.
They don't evade because they'll let them come in. They load them in the vans. They take them up to Phoenix, give them a $3,000 gift card and a cell phone, and send them wherever they want to go. You get a court date. You have 2 years to show up in court. That's the reason they give them a phone, because they're saying,
they look so sad.
If you don't give me a phone, I don't know when I'm supposed to go to court. So they give them a phone.
At first, I was confused what the Border Patrol agent meant when he kept referring to they. To the naked eye, it appears that Border Patrol is the one handling and processing the migrants, but they're only the first step in a chain of bureaucratic authority that goes up to the Department of Homeland Security.
Yo, you can give
then
me
finally,
20 subs ABC, and I will show a foot, 1 foot.
Which is more or less controlled by the Biden administration, who've taken a much more open arms approach to immigration after pulling back Title 42 just about a year ago. But despite pushing for more lax border laws in comparison with President Trump,
the wall just got 10 feet taller, believe me.
Biden hasn't done anything to make the process of applying for citizenship any faster. In fact, it still takes between 18 to 24 months to get a response on a citizenship application.
Wow.
And it's actually possible to be denied.
It's like everything is so slow, like disability, that'll take like years, right? To get approved for disability. It's insane. I was saying Ben sounded naive because of all his solutions. Oh yeah, dude, like it was like the opening, if you watch the video, like the very opening of it, like Destiny is expressing concerns about the schooling system and like talking about the priorities of it, and then he immediately just jumps to like 2-parent household. We need 2-parent households. It's like, okay, what happens when we don't have 2-parent households? What happens when one of them dies? There's domestic violence. One of them's incarcerated. Like like the fuck, you know, like completely ignoring the state that we're in. It's like, okay, ideally in the future, and I am very much somebody like with the current situation we're in, we should have like more community parenting, more social systems, yeah, like so people don't have to like stress so much, especially if, yeah, like it's traumatizing enough to have a single parent household in their minds. It doesn't have to be like, you know, you just have to struggle. You know, you should have thought about it before you were a single parent. It's like, what does that help? That doesn't help anybody. It doesn't do anything for anybody just to shame them and tell them that they have to have this thing. It just doesn't work like that for everybody. It's not the state we're in. Who got denied? Wait, what happened? I was saying, okay, and like he was like, Donald did the wrong thing, but if you want him to stop, make him president. Oh yeah, and termless, but he breaks rules. And he was also like, oh, but he broke rules before, but he won't do it again. It's like, okay. Biden 2024, is that how you feel weaking? I don't know why that got held. Wikipedia said Biden 2024 in chat, and the message was held. In my opinion, like on 2-parent households, are you going to make the government force them to have babies? Yeah. Also, I am personally the believer of, like, if the 2-parent household is a toxic dynamic, it can be better for the kid's mental health to have like either a 1-parent household for a while, like be with some other family member. It really depends on the circumstances. Because I know a lot of people who have been through toxic family dynamics, and just them being like forcing them to just be with their denied on the screen. I see what you mean now. Just forcing them to be with their 2 parents, like I feel like with so many people I know that would have fucked them up way worse, you know? It's just it's really circumstantial.
It's citizenship if you fail to memorize and regurgitate fun facts about the history of America.
How many amendments does the Constitution have?
It has 27 amendments.
Good. Which group of people was taken to America and sold as slaves?
Yeah, I don't believe in the 1-child rule either. I think that's excessive.
So it makes sense why a lot of migrants, many of whom are facing desperate circumstances, avoid the citizenship.
I actually read a really good book series when I was younger about, like, it was like a world where there was I think it was a 1-child rule. It might have been a 2-child rule, but does anyone know what book series I'm talking about? Fuck, I cannot think of the name of it. But there were like these kids that were born and they had to be hidden. And like they would like hide with other kids, and they didn't have homes, and they had to like fend for themselves. It was a really good book series. I'm gonna find it one day. We'll read it on stream. It was really good. Throw them a curveball. We all form 2-parent households, but everyone is gay. I looked it up. Ben made a joke response to the Wet Pussy song, implying that that if you need a bucket and a mop, you must have an infection. Hey man, you're not hitting it right. Oh man. He has morals. Adds stuff that's cool, but he is like, my morals will fix everything. Oh my gosh. Among the Hidden, yes, Shadow Children. That's the one. Thank you, Valley. That's a good series. Yeah. Bro, there was this whole video that I watched. I think it was Steven Crowder. He was just like, it was when Billie Eilish had like just turned 18 and he was like seething over the fact that she like sexualizes herself, but like she wears baggy clothes. And I think when she's like 18, she's like, okay, I don't want to like purposefully hide my body now. I don't know, but it was just weird. You'd have to watch it on YouTube. I don't know if I could sit through it again. But he was just like being, and it was like, it reminded me of watching Jordan Peterson when he was like calling Ellen Page Elliot, or he was calling Elliot Page Ellen Page, and he made an entire video monologuing about how wrong them transitioning was. It was so fucking weird. It was so weird, dude. He sounds very privileged, and like not everyone has those advantages, all that. It seems childlike. Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it's like these like red pill guys just like jump on whatever sensational like musician or actor. They're like, what can I take and turn into my red pill fuel. I can't talk properly. They're like grinding it in the mixer. Ah, yes. This will be a good anti-woman, anti-trans soup. Ah, yes. I don't think they're a red pill. I mean, like, I would say they're in, like, the manosphere or whatever. Like Sneeko and his, like, fucking fans going up to him and being, like, anti-woman and anti-trans, and he's like, what? So shocked. My fans. Like, of course. Oh, man. They don't like each other? Steven Crowder and Jordan Peterson? They don't like each other?
Application process
I was unaware.
altogether. I wonder if my great-great-grandparents, who were economic refugees that fled Ireland in the wake of the potato famine, experienced such an arduous process when they arrived to America illegally. Unlike these migrants who arrived at the southern border, my family arrived on boats to Ellis Island 115 years ago. Much like Roberto and Alberto, who we interviewed in our previous episode, Arizona Border Crisis, they found themselves in a strange new land with pennies to their name. They had no particular plan, but what they did have was the willpower and determination to work as hard as they could with the hopes of one day providing a brighter future for their family. And it worked. And that's all thanks to Grandpa Jerry, who died 30 years before I was born.
Dude, that clip of Alex Jones.
Who Paul Revere was, or what the Boston Tea Party was all about. Was there a concern back then that these migrants weren't American enough to join our society? Or is that way of thinking a new phenomenon, driven by the paranoia of a white minority?
An analysis of census data from the Brookings Institute projects the number of white Americans will fall below 50% for the first time ever in about 20 years, 2045.
Bro, like, okay. The fucking panic is ridiculous. Like, literally, bro, we got here as fucking pilgrims, as fucking immigrants, and we were the minority. It's, like, we don't have to remain the minority. I feel like that's just white nationalism, is, like, that fucking, like, clutching your pearls to remain the majority race. Like, why are you so afraid? Why are you so afraid? Is it because maybe, like, white people genocided other people to be the majority, and now you're afraid that other people are gonna do the same to us? Maybe we should break that cycle, bro. Like, I don't understand the white erasure bullshit. I honestly, like, hope someday that we're all the beautiful blend of all races. I don't know, eons from now. We're all little aliens, multicultural, beautiful creatures, and it's fine. And yeah, I don't give a fuck. I'm a European mutt. I don't identify as white, okay? I just think the concept is cringe. The concept of whiteness is cringe to me. I'm a pale ass bitch, but I'm not like championing the fact that I'm fucking white. I don't know. I think that's just fucking ridiculous, bro. It screams insecurity, in my opinion. One race, human race. I agree with her. She's cute.
Or perhaps it's less about race and more about the burden of inheriting global poverty when we have so many problems of our own. I guess times have changed a lot.
Yo,
It's not
Valley, like literally one of the things Ben Shapiro fucking said was like, we are not all one race. Your families should be the priority and you should make more babies. It's like, excuse me, sir. Excuse me, I can barely afford myself and the one. You're gonna have to give me universal basic income and maybe a little bit of land, okay? And then maybe I'll make some kids. But I'm gonna be making them with somebody who's not white, so sorry, buddy.
Fentanyl or cartels back then, and most immigrants plan to move to America forever.
Also,
not
we're all
stack
one.
up money here and go back home. I don't have the answers.
Take the
but I do
rainbow
have
pill.
A lot of questions. One question in particular:
Go to
how
Super
can
Mario
we,
World.
as Americans, expect to propagandize the entire world with our dream through Hollywood, the music industry, and the testimonies of self-made American billionaires, while simultaneously exploiting the labor, crops, and raw earth materials of developing nations, freezing the economies of our political opponents through trade sanctions, and creating rival drug cartels with our insatiable appetite for cocaine, fentanyl, meth, and heroin, and not expect a global economic refugee crisis at the southern border. But that being said, no matter where you stand on illegal immigration, I think we can all agree that our system, as it currently stands, is broken.
We have a legal process for immigrants, and it's being done by some, but it takes forever.
Yeah.
You know, so it needs to be sped up for those with skills and those who want to come and build skills and be Americans and be proud to be here and work and better their lives and their families. And the treacherous journey that they have to take across the border and through the desert, you're losing lives that way. And so I just hope in 2024 we can rectify this problem and help those who want to get here legally.
It appeared that all of the migrants who were walking directly into Border Patrol's
I think
hands
I remember
were
liking that guy
approaching
the
from
first
a
time I
westbound road
watched this.
called Puerto Blanco Drive, a narrow dirt pathway running through the national park. So I decided to drive down the road to see if I could find some migrants to speak to. First, we see some signage warning us of what's to come. Truthfully, I don't expect to see much, but as I continue down the road, they seem to be spawning out of thin air from all angles. Most of them in a rush, we're told,
Damn,
because
bro.
their cartel coyotes told them they had to get to the Border Patrol facility by nightfall in order to be transferred to a larger processing center or dropped off in a major city. But I noticed a group of a few of them walking pretty slowly, so I called them over to the car to see if they want to talk.
How you guys doing? Where are you guys from?
Senegal.
From Senegal? How you got? You're in America. How does it feel? What's the plan?
Start the new year right at Loveland Ford. From now until the end of the month, get as low as
Traduction, traducteur.
Okay.
Ah ouais, du camping américain. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Can you guys tell me about your life in Senegal? How was your life in Senegal? How you guys doing? Welcome to the United States. Where you from, man? Senegal. Senegal. You guys are all from Senegal?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay. You speak any English?
A little.
Oh, cool. So how was your guys' life in Senegal?
The life in Senegal is very, very hard.
Have you seen Bald and Bankrupt travel with immigrants on the horrendous trail with the real issues they face? Some sadly die on the trek. No, David, I haven't seen that. That's really sad. Yeah, they do mention in this video that a lot of people die. It was really sad.
You know?
Chaos and unrest in Senegal once again. The opposition leader urged supporters to take.
I had never
streets
even heard of
to
Senegal
protest
before
against
this
his jail
video.
sentence.
The government is bad. Voilà. Opposition are very difficult to manifest her problem. We are here to get another life for our family, for our people. We are very tired in Senegal. Senegal is very hard. That's why we come here to get another life, you know?
Yeah.
The American people is a good people.
Yeah.
Donc, they are democracy. They are good life, you know.
What kind of work do you want to do?
Me? I was a soldier in Senegal. I do two years in the army, you know. after my
Wow, an army veteran is like, yeah, we're fucked. We need to like leave. Damn, dude.
I was a security private,
Security?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Security private.
So you're going to look for a security job?
Don't know. But yeah.
Hey, man, well, best of luck, man. I appreciate you guys.
Gracias.
Hope everything goes well.
Okay.
See you guys later. See you, man.
Thanks for talking to us.
Yeah, see you guys.
Bye, guys.
After stopping to speak for a bit, the group of Senegalese men headed westbound, toward the Border Patrol facility. We, however, kept driving. As you continue to drive along the border wall, you can see people popping out from under the wall in a specific part of the fence that's being guarded by an SUV on the Mexican side. Nearby, I see a group of mothers and children who appear to have recently just crossed the wall. They tell me they're migrants from Michoacan. The mother of these children, who personally financed their trip, says she's willing to talk to me.
Mi pregunta es, ¿cómo fue tu vida en México?
Pues muy cruel, hay muchos asaltos, matación, todo eso.
¿Es muy pobre?
Sí,
¿Por qué quieres ir a los Estados Unidos?
porque como le comenté, estamos huyendo de la delincuencia y para un futuro para mis hijos.
¿Qué quieres para tus hijos?
Pues que estudien allá.
Hoy es tu primera vez en los...
I personally don't feel the need to like feel divided by something like that. Yeah, I'm a very nomadic minded person. I'm not very like, there's places where I feel at home, but there's not places where I'm like possessive over like, we're watching Channel 5's video on the migrant detention camp. Frankie, how are you doing? We gotta fight. Oh man, see, but I love the South too. I just don't like y'all's crazy fucking government. So if the crazy fucking government wasn't so fucking crazy, but we wouldn't have that much beef. We really wouldn't. We really wouldn't, man.
¿Qué piensas?
Pues que, pues echarle ganas con mis hijos y sacarlos adelante y no, pues sacarlos de la violencia.
¿Hay mucha violencia?
Sí, mucha. Por la gente que andan pues así, como robando, quitando a los niños y todo.
¿Pero es peligrosa para los niños también?
Sí, es peligroso.
¿Qué tipo de trabajo prefieres?
Pues yo dependí de un trabajo que sea honrado y todo.
¿Y tienes planes para asilo?
Sí, tengo para eso vengo, para que me den apoyo.
¿Qué significa asilo?
Pues que ayudan a las personas con los niños que vienen de México para acá.
¿Es un proceso fácil?
Pues yo digo que sí.
¿Y vas a solo hablar con la migra y decir yo tengo problemas en mi país?
Sí, así es.
Sí. ¿Tienes una ciudad que quieres?
But I feel like that a lot of that comes from a cycle of fear, right? That it's like we gotta get them before they get us. But I think a lot of that is a fallacy. Also, the like perception that resources are finite, which I know like some resources are, or at least scarce. But I think we have a perception of like a reliance on certain resources, like say, for example, oil, that we like need to like dominate that area so we can like maintain power over that resource. But I truly don't think it has to be like that long term. Fear is strong. Fear is very strong, but it's also something you could absolutely overcome. Find better ways, more innovative ways of doing things that lead to more abundance for more people, and more security for more people, therefore a reduction of fear, hopefully.
A California.
But I feel like that's hard to achieve in a society in which everything is so heavily commodified and so many people are so competitive minded and not really community minded. The saying better safe than sorry is a thing people live by. Yeah, but it's like better safe than sorry. I squish the spider or I kill the animal, or I learn to adapt and remove the spider or befriend the animal, depending on the circumstances. So, like, yeah, be prepared, but not to financially incentivize, like, things like war. I don't know. The weapons industry is very profitable. Education is one way to counter it for sure. Squishing the spider is less work? Depends on how you look at it. I get that, but I don't know. It's like, for me, messes with me more to kill it. I'd prefer not to have it in here to begin with, so maybe I'll just like make sure I close the window, right? But if it does come in here, I will try and remove it without killing it. But if it's like coming at me, then yeah, I might fucking squish it.
¿Tienes familia en Victorville?
Sí, tengo familia.
¿Fue tan caro la viaje?
Sí, fue caro.
¿Cuánto?
10,000.
I feel like a lot of people, though, are living in like a survival state of mind. So, like I was saying earlier, it's like a lot easier for people to care if they're not constantly in survival mode.
12.
Sí, cada persona.
Buenas noches, Martin. How are you?
Sí.
¿Y tienes
Good
miedo de
night.
deportar?
Pues sí tengo.
Sí. Pero no sabes ahora si eso es en tu futuro.
Build a wall, you could say. Listen, no. See, I wouldn't build a wall to keep the spider from going in the forest, you know, like out of my yard. The spider can be in my yard. I don't care. The spider can like post up right outside, wave him hello during the day, you know, but like not in my house. My house is a no spider zone. So if people want to build like a wall around like their personal home, you know, the country I was looking at living in, they do have a lot of gates on their doors and windows. Because you never know. You never know. A NIMBY. What's a NIMBY? The more you have family, money, stuff, the more violent you will be with potential threats. The wall will be beautiful, a beautiful wall. The spiders won't get it. Oh my god. I mean, I think that's subjective because, like, the more I acquire, the more I want to give back, personally. I'm not, like, I don't think of it more like, I've always been protective over, like, my family and my loved ones. But just because I'm acquiring more doesn't mean I feel more violent towards anyone that might want to, like, do it. Like, if it's necessary, it's necessary, but the more that I acquire, the more that I want to give back. That's how I feel. Because I'm grateful for, yeah, like when I was in the position that I was and I didn't have any security. So, and I very much know that if more people had that security, they probably would act out less. You looking at Australia? Pretty sure it's that or South Africa. There's a lot of places in Latin America and Portugal and Spain that have like gated doors and windows and such. Which there's a lot of places in America too, especially depending on where you're at. I know when I was in Jacksonville, Florida, like pretty much everywhere there had like bars on the windows and stuff. Miami as well. It's just kind of like wherever you go with any amount of inequality, I feel like there's going to be a risk. And I mean, even if you build a wall, right? Like, people can dig. People can fly. I don't know. You could try and take as many measures as you want to take, but not in my backyard. Hello. It's a pejorative for the people that prevent housing projects and such, because it would disrupt their property values. Wait, how am I a NIMBY? How so? What did I say? Yeah, Florida has a lot of gates and stuff.
Ya de que esté allá con la migra, ellos deciden
¿Qué piensas sobre la migra?
Pues yo pienso que nos van a ayudar, ¿no? Para eso vamos, que ojalá nos ayude.
Cuando tú fue joven, ¿tienes sueños de los Estados Unidos?
Pues sí tengo sueños.
¿Por qué?
Pues porque pues dicen que hay mucho trabajo bien y todo.
¿Piensas que todas las personas en México quieren ir aquí?
Yo digo que sí.
Okay. ¿Qué piensas? Ok, muchas gracias.
Sí.
Hasta luego.
Yes.
Sí.
Midway through my shoot, I had an interesting revelation. It seemed that almost every migrant of Latin American descent, particularly Mexican, that I talked to, said they were leaving their hometown because of threats from gangs or being kidnapped by the cartel. In our previous episode,
I mean, like, the spider could be right outside my window. As long as the spider's not gonna, like, crawl up in my, like, putang when I'm asleep. I have an irrational fear of that. Like something crawling inside of me while I'm asleep, bro. It's not that irrational though, cause that shit happens. I don't want that to happen. I don't want any crawlies in my house. Literally right there in the garden. I will make him a spot. I will make him a fucking spot, bro.
In a border crisis, we spoke to two different migrants, Alberto and Roberto, who reported similar stories.
Por los carteles nos sacaron.
Sí.
Nos sacaron de las casas.
¿Qué ciudad de México vives?
En Veracruz, pues es que gobierna el cártel de Jalisco.
Sí.
Sí, pues te piden cuota y como si no tienes dinero, ¿de dónde les vas a dar?
Sí.
Y pues te sacan de tus casas.
Somos el grupo Matacetas.
Y estamos amenazados que no podemos regresar.
Hay mucho movimiento de eso de las drogas y todo.
Sí.
Muy feo.
When you signed up for pet insurance, you didn't sign up for...
However, many locals and law enforcement personnel believe they're being disingenuous when they make these sorts of claims, because applying for asylum requires the proof of persecution or imminent danger. During the asylum-seeking process, it's typically not enough to...
I would have a
declare that
spider
you're
in a
simply poor and
terrarium.
looking for a better life elsewhere. You have to provide ample justification that it's actually dangerous for you to stay in your hometown or your home country. And even then, many claims are rejected. And so claiming that the cartel is personally after you is a really easy way to be granted asylum, especially because there's no real intelligence apparatus to confirm or deny the authenticity of this threat. The concerned citizen of mysterious origin who we met at the Arizona border last episode claims that cartel coyotes that control the human smuggling route around the Lukeville Gringo Pass area are coaching these migrants in how to explain themselves to press and border patrol agents.
The cartel or somebody is coaching them because they virtually say the same thing. Oh, that their lives are in danger from gangs in these areas, and they've been threatened with kidnapping. And we've even found a notebook that had those kind of answers written down as if the person was rehearsing these statements to say when they were, when they confronted the Border Patrol.
To be honest, this made perfect sense to me. I'm not for a second dismissing that narco violence has had a significantly negative impact on the civilian population of Mexico, especially in places like Ciudad Juarez, where hundreds of women have been found murdered for no apparent reason. But I found it difficult to believe that cartels were systematically kidnapping local children in their own communities and squeezing their non-affiliated, already struggling parents for ransom pesos. It seemed like they had bigger fish to fry, like supplying the open-air trank market of Philadelphia or the fentanyl market of San Francisco. That being said, even if these migrants were lying or at least greatly exaggerating the cartel threat, they've still gone to extreme lengths to reach the United States. So their situation back home was obviously pretty hopeless. If anything, it's more sad that they have to present their situation in this way in order to be able to engage our immigration courts. However, some people, like the gentleman we interviewed, believe even the poverty they claim to come from is also a lie.
The part that alarms me, what you used to see, 10 years ago, you would find these cheap Chinese-made camouflage backpacks that were purchased by the crossers in these border towns. And they would get across the border. The backpacks would invariably break or something like that. Now we're finding these Louis Vuitton leather backpacks. We found one just the other day that was lying on the ground. We opened it up. In the top compartment, there was a bottle of cologne and a UCB C cord.
A UCB C cord?
Neck pillows.
You
This
don't
is a
say.
different demographic completely.
I
Wow.
decided to walk through the
Different
Sonoran Desert
demographic.
to
They
see if
have
what the
neck
man was saying
pillows.
was true by inspecting backpacks left behind by migrants.
They're rich, man.
You guys, guess what it is? USB-C charger. Staying fresh.
Another luxury item.
Yeah, this is it's kind of like a passport. It's an international certificate of
Dude.
vaccination stamped from the Republic of Guinea. See what else is in here?
It's ridiculous.
And lo and behold, the aforementioned, totally authentic Gucci slipper. We spoke to this gentleman earlier, if you guys remembered, who mentioned that these migrants, unlike the old migrants, are bringing like luxury items like Gucci purses, Louis Vuitton flip-flops,
Louis Vuitton.
Prada bags and stuff like that. And so as you can see here, someone has left behind a Gucci slipper, but as you can see, it's not actually Gucci. It says on the heel right here, Zaza. Obviously in America, Zaza is a type of weed.
Zaza. Where's Zaza? Where's Zaza? Zaza. 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 Zaza is the best weed in Florida. Best weed everywhere. Come on now. We don't bullshit.
But internationally, I would assume it is a variant knockoff of Gucci with the pattern, which leads to another theme, which is the mass production of knockoff luxury and designer goods in the third world. I don't know if you guys have been to Vietnam or Nigeria before, but place is fucking Gucci down.
Another thing I noticed along the border fence were blue flags and water stations that were placed every quarter mile on the way toward the Border Patrol facility.
Yes, as you guys can see, pretty much all along the border fence, like this entire way, every quarter mile or so, you'll see these giant blue flags. I'm not sure who puts them there, but they're basically what I'm assuming to be emergency medical services. They have like a giant thing of water right here. So if you want to get some water, you can obviously get some water and shit. They have cups here.
Upon further research, these tanks of water and flags are left behind by Humane Borders, aka Fronteras Compasivas, an Arizona-based nonprofit that sets up hundreds of water stations along the border to provide hydration to migrants, which in the summertime, as temperatures can rise to above 120 degrees in the desert, can be a matter of life or death.
People dying out in the desert. They were dying because they didn't have any water. So the next day I read another article about this, 2 people dying because they didn't have any water. So the third day, there was a mother
I'm
and a
not sure
daughter
what you're
that died
talking
out
about,
here in
Kellogg.
the desert because they didn't have water. So
That's so
I got
sad.
pissed off. I said, I have to do something 7 days a week. We're out here in the field putting out water for the migrants.
If you're interested in donating, please go to humaneborders.org/donate. Last year alone, nearly 100 migrants died crossing the border in that 5-mile section where we filmed this video. And the sheer number of migrant deaths that occur in the Arizona desert as a whole, solely as a result of dehydration, is staggering. This in mind, 75% of migrant deaths happen in the summer months, so it's no surprise the winter months of December and January see the highest migrant traffic by a large margin.
What's up, right there?
Not much.
Where are you coming from?
Yeah, I'm from West Africa.
Oh shit.
From Guinea, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not easy, ball. Yeah, by God and power, you know? Respect.
How long has your journey been so far?
Oh, though, nothing to say. That's fucked up, though.
How'd you get to Mexico?
Oh, yeah, so let me drink a lot of water fresh after that so we can talk, okay?
You want some water?
We
got some, brother, we got some. How long ago did you leave Guinea?
What if you could get your music submitted to over 100 Spotify playlist curators and boost your chances of getting to...
It's been a 2 week. I live in Guinea. Guinea. After Guinea, so Senegal, Dakar. To take to the plane to go Istanbul, 28 hours to escort. Then Istanbul to Bogota, Bogota, San Salvador, Nicaragua. So you pick up the car to go to the borderline to Nicaragua and Honduras. You know, then you go to immigration Honduras just to take one paper. You know, then take a bus, Honduras, Guatemala. Mexico. The cop is Mexico is fucked up though.
The cops?
Yeah, my bro, damn.
Like the Mexican Border Patrol?
Mexican boy, Joe, I spending $5,000.
They extorted you?
Yeah, though. The guy is take me my watch, my heart, in my airport, you know, because I don't have the money, man, you know, in my pocket. I use my card, yeah, my bank, my car bank, you know.
So you finally made it to Mexico, and then what happened?
Then finally in Mexico, we take one bus to go Chapachula. Chapachula is too far. Then, Chapachula, we take one bus again to continue Arriaga. Arriaga again, we take a taxi, the yellow car. Yellow car, then bike, horse, to the tricycles bike. After that, Xujitan. Then after Xujitan, Mexico City. Mexico City, we go to the bus station to buy a ticket. Right, we take a bus again, 1,070 miles.
From bus in Mexico City.
Exactly, yeah. 2,070 miles.
And you ended up near here.
2 days in the bus. You know, then when you arrive there, so I make it 2 days because I met the Spanish, the Mexican girl enter the bus station. She got so much love for me, bro. Yeah, she followed me and that's the first, to the first meet. This is the Mexico bus station. You know her baby. Yeah, just to drink one beers again. You know, it's popping. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Yeah. Oh damn. Back. It's not easy, but thank God.
So what's your plan now, bro?
It's my plan to the next episode.
Yeah.
After these things, but difficult to explain it. But that's in God power.
As the sun began to set and darkness approached, we figured it was safer to go back to the Border Patrol facility. When we returned, migrant population had doubled, and spirits were considerably lower than they were in the early afternoon when we first arrived.
¿Qué pasa? ¿Tienes hambre? ¿A dónde eres?
Soy de Guatemala.
Sí.
Sí.
¿Estás bien?
Sí.
¿Qué pasa, mi amigo?
Tengo hambre.
Sí.
Sí.
¿Cómo fue tu viaje?
Está mal. Estoy muriendo de hambre. Solo agua no está dando.
¿Quieres comida?
Thanks for the follow, Renko.
We have food in the car, right?
It is Valley.
Sí. ¿Qué es tu nombre, amigo?
Miguel Yat.
¿Qué?
Miguel Yat.
I'm drawing Valley's
¿Cuántos años
doggo.
tienes?
Tengo 34.
Sí.
Sí.
¿Tienes hijos o hijas?
If you want to send me more pictures for
tengo.
inspiration,
Tengo
that would help too, Valley, if you have any more.
Tengo 4. Son 6 mis hijos. 3 varones y 3 mujeres.
Unfortunately, I think they passed,
Sí,
didn't
vivo en
they,
Guatemala.
Valley?
Sí.
¿Y por qué viajes a los Estados Unidos?
Pues es que allá no tengo terreno, no tengo casa.
Could you also send me their names so I can write that
Por
on
esa
here as well?
razón tengo que viajar. Sí, pero tengo que esperar la voluntad de Dios. Sí.
¿Crees en Dios?
Sí, soy cristiano.
Sí. ¿Católico o no?
No, soy evangélico. Sí, soy evangélico.
¿Y qué quieres hacer aquí en los Estados Unidos?
Quiero superar, sacar adelante mi familia.
¿Quieres trabajar?
Sí, quiero trabajar.
¿Qué tipo de trabajo quieres
Lo que
hacer?
sea, lo que caiga, yo rasque mi vida. Sí.
¿Tienes una ciudad que quieres ir o no?
Lo que sea. Sí. Mi cuñado me va a encontrar allá en Estados Unidos. Sí.
¿O es tu primera vez en los Estados
Es mi
Unidos?
primera vez.
¿Qué piensas?
Sí. Sí, estoy pensando en viajar, pero lamentablemente salió muy mal el viaje. Va.
¿Qué lo pasó en la viaje?
Pues mire, cuántos días ya llevo un mes de venir acá y pasando en los bodegos y así está pasando también. Y aquí no hay comida, no hay nada. Sí.
¿Cuántos días fue tu viaje?
Thanks for hanging out, Valley. See you later.
30 días ahorita, un mes cabal.
¿Fue caro?
Sí. Sí.
¿Cuánto cuesta para todo?
¿Cómo así?
¿Cuánto cuesta para usted viajar?
Como 100,000. Sí, 100,000 me están cobrando. Sí. Y como para pagar eso, si no me voy.
¿Fue peligroso?
Sí, fue peligroso.
¿Por qué?
Porque pues, nos venimos escondidos. Sí.
¿Sientes que la gente americana está bien?
Sí, sí, está un poco bien, pero no, pongamos uno, si va a encontrar uno, lo matan porque no lo conozca uno.
Midway through my interview with Miguel Yate, I began to put two and two together. When Miguel referred to having to hide a lot while crossing the border, he wasn't referring to coyotes. He may have been referring to one of the many civilian border militias that often lurk the perimeter of the border fence.
The local sheriff does not welcome their presence on Arizona's border with Mexico, but they say they're not breaking the law.
In many documented cases, these militia groups are alleged to have opened fire indiscriminately on migrants crossing the border fence illegally.
Sí.
¿Tienes familia o amigos aquí?
No, no tengo, vengo solo. No tengo nada.
¿Solo?
Solo vengo.
¿Vas a hacer asilo político?
Sí.
¿Es fácil para hacer eso?
Pues no sé, fíjate. Me concedo un trabajo, va. Me voy con usted. Necesito recuperar mi familia, más seguro.
¿Tienes una esposa?
Sí, tengo. Sí, por eso tengo que salir.
¿Qué tipos de trabajo te gustas?
Pues lo que hay yo voy a trabajar. Lo que sea, sí, voy a hacer.
¿Puedes hablar inglés?
No puedo. No, solo español.
Pero puedes decir cosas como hello en inglés, ¿sí?
Puede ser, sí, aprendiendo.
¿Hay mucha gente de pobreza en Guatemala?
Bien hay.
¿Y cuando tú fue joven fue pobreza también?
Sí, pobreza. No tengo casa, no tengo terreno. Es la misma. Por eso tengo que ir a ganar dinero para superar mi familia.
¿Dónde vive tu familia ahora? ¿En una casa?
Pues solo tenemos prestado una casa nada más.
¿Hay mucha violencia en Guatemala?
Pues la verdad que no hay. Solo pobreza, que no hay dinero, no hay trabajo, pues. Sí.
¿Qué es tu sueño para tu vida?
Mi sueño, pues, regreso un día, compre mi autobús o mi carro, a comprar mi terreno y a construir mi casa.
Sí.
Sí.
In the heart of Gaza, where hope is a precious rarity, every meal we give means hope for kids and families. It's amazing how something as simple as a meal
Isn't
can make a
aid
big
not even
difference.
getting through though?
But we need your support to keep that hope alive.
Soon after our conversation, Miguel's name was called, and he, along with hundreds of other migrants, began gathering in a single-file line to board commuter buses, which were told leave the migrant processing center at 6:30 p.m. sharp every day. Groups of 40 to 50 people, often called micro-caravans, begin emerging and heading toward the bus to get a good place in line.
Hola, bienvenidos, ¿cómo estás? ¿A dónde eres?
De México.
¿Cuántos días fue tu vieja?
2 días ya.
¿Estás bien?
Sí, algo cansados, pero...
¿Asilo aquí? No.
Sí, asilo político, ahora sí que por problemas de la comunidad y algo que le pasa a mi hijo. Se meten mucho la gente mala con los niños, entonces de verdad pues, yo quisiera que me apoyaran para sacar a mi hijo porque yo no quiero que a mi hijo le hagan ningún daño. Pues ahí sí yo preferiría algo como de cocina o en alguna casa, a limpieza.
Sí.
Me he costado llegar hasta aquí y batallándole con mi hijo.
¿Y qué ciudad prefieres?
Fresco Valley, Arizona.
Ok, sí, muy cerca.
Sí.
¿Quieres decir una cosa para los americanos?
Pues que nos apoyen y ahora sí que nos vean con buena cara porque pues yo pienso que todos merecemos algo mejor, ¿no?
Sí. Good luck, guys.
After our brief interview, the mother and her son headed to the bus line, and to my surprise, more and more migrants began emerging from all angles headed toward the bus. I wanted to speak to some more people about what their journey was like and what sort of life they expect in the United States, but it seemed like the commuter bus was probably reaching its maximum capacity given the amount of people I saw gathered nearby. So I figured the best place to continue doing interviews was actually in line, where Border Patrol agents were checking migrants' passports and photographing them for documentation purposes. Despite a gentleman's earlier claim that we have no idea who these people are because they shed all of their ID after hopping the border wall.
What they do is when they come through the wall, they shed any type of ID. No one has any idea of who these people are.
Almost everybody in line had valid passports and documentation. Like this pair of cousins, who came directly from Guatemala, and initially told me they left because of violence and extortions.
¿Cómo fue su vida en Guatemala?
Hay mucha violencia y la economía está muy...
¿Qué tipo de violencia?
Se le digo extorsiones.
Ok.
Extorsiones.
¿Y ustedes tienen familia aquí?
Sí, mis hijos están acá, en Los Ángeles, California.
¿Tus hijos están aquí?
Sí, y yo vengo luchando por estar con ellos. Intenté 2 veces, pero nada más me hicieron un retiro. Me deportaron.
¿Cuántos años tienen tus hijos?
El primero tiene 21, la segunda 17 y el chiquito 12.
Sí. ¿Y qué tipo de trabajo quieres hacer?
Pues, me
Okay, guys, I'm actually gonna head out early. This is on Channel 5's YouTube channel. I am very eepy. I woke up early. So I'm gonna head out and watch anime in bed, I think. But I will be back tomorrow if you guys want to hang out. Hop in the raid, twitch.tv/Cassie Catnip if you guys want to join the raid. I should be live tomorrow again. We're gonna probably play some video games. We'll probably do a poll tomorrow on what you guys want to see me play. Bam, bam. Okay. Good night, guys. Bye.
Something that he stepped on. Fucked it up. Yo, Cassie Catnip! Thank you for raiding.